the truth about Milton. Let me give you the truth about this company, because they're not going to tell you the truth. When a recruiter calls you, well, let's just put it this way. If you're new to the trucking business, if you just got your CDL, when you start to put in applications, fill out applications, you're going to get a lot of recruiters that's going to hit you up trying to get you to come to their company. What you need to understand is that these recruiters that hit you up wanting you to come work for their company, they're all going to sell you a dream. They are going to sell you a dream that their company is the best company to work for and you should not look anywhere else. Right? They're going to sell you that dream. That's 99.9% of these companies that the recruiters call you, because it's going to be a recruiter that calls you. You're not going to speak to HR. You're going to speak to the recruiting department. But this video is not about other companies. This video is about Milton in particular. How I first found out about Milton was a recruiter came to my truck driving school when we were in the second week of what is about a 2 to 3 month program. So all these recruiters come to our school and they all give us their spiel. Swift came to my school, Prime, I believe Shriner, and a few other McLean, they came to the school, and a few other ones came to the school. And Milton was the last one to come. And after hearing all the other companies, recruiters, and questioning them thoroughly, because we had time to question them, when Milton came, they had the best benefits. You know, the recruiter that came was straight cut and to the point. He talked about what Milton had. It talked about what Milton offered. It talked about why, Milton would be a good company to drive for. And I was like, bam. What really got me was the bank days, the days that you can bank, the banking days. So I'm like, yes, this is the company. This is it. This is the company. I heard all the other companies, but either the pay wasn't as good as Milton, or the days off that they gave you wasn't good, or they didn't have bank days. Bank days is basically what Milton was offering that really caught my attention, along with us having our own truck, along with us, having real new, up-to-date trucks and everything. So I was like, okay, cool. The banking days is what really sold me on Milton, because you can basically work. You can keep working, not take any days off. And all those days, you get 1 day off after every 7 days. So if you go for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months, all those days, every 7 days, you get a new day. And if you don't take those days off, you basically can bank enough days to take months off at a time. So that's what really sold me. So I put my application in for Milton. The next day, the recruiter called. It was like, hey, can you fill out this? You agree to a background check. Bam. I said, yeah, cool. I'll do the background check. I'll fill out this. But I told him, hey, I haven't finished my truck driving school yet. I don't even have my CDL. And it was like, no, it's no problem. We can schedule this. No, this was the first step. So After I filled out the application, after I submitted to the background check, they called me like a few days later, and they said, "Hey, you passed the background. You've been approved to join our orientation. When would you think a good time to start?" I told them, "Hey, I'm still, in truck driving school. I haven't finished it yet, so I should be done in about two more months." They were like, "Okay, we can set your orientation date for 2 months from now. By that time, you should be done. You should by that time have your CDL." I'm like, "Yeah, by that time I should be done. I should have my CDL." After I gave them the date to start orientation, they sent me an email. In the email, it basically says you are hired. You got approved. It doesn't say, and I'll get to this part later, that you got to go through a probation period. It pretty much says you got your CDL, you're hired. Okay, so so I told them I could start in 2 months. So up into that 2 months, they were calling me like literally every other weekend. "Hey, are you still okay to start in 2 months? Are you still just checking in? Are you still good to go? Are you still good to start?" And they were just checking in every either every week or every other week. They would just calling my phone, the recruiter. I'm like, yeah. So basically what happened, I had to move the date further to 3 months because I was like, "Hey, I still haven't took my test yet." They put me on a schedule to take my drive test, but I still haven't took it yet. So they're like, "Cool, we'll start you in 3 months." So fast forward, took my drive test, aced it, passed it in the first time. I didn't have to take it over again, and got my CDL. The first thing I did is call Milton, let them know, "Hey, I got my CDL, I'm ready to go." They was like, "Cool." I was like, "As a matter of fact, I know I said I won't come from another month, but we can bump it up. I can come now." They were like, "Okay, cool. So how do you want to come?" They'll ask you how you want to come. We'll give you a plane ticket. We can give you you can take a bus. You can rent a car, or you can drive your personal vehicle. So, and we'll reimburse you. We'll reimburse you the costs that it costs you. Whatever method. So if they pay for a plane ticket, then they're not going to reimburse you. But if you have to pay for like rent a car, or you drive your own personal vehicle, then they'll reimburse you for the expenses. So I said, "Hey, I would rather come in my own personal car because it works better for me in my situation right now. Because I didn't have nowhere to store my car at." And they was like, "No problem. You can store your car here, and once you get your truck, you could come back and get your car when you have some free time." Now, keep in mind, this whole time, they talk to you as if you are already hired, as if you already have the job. This is how they talk to you. This is how they prepare you. They don't say, "Hey, you have to go through a probation period." They don't say this is an elimination thing. They talk to you as if you are hired. They say, "Hey, come to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and start orientation." Bam, right? So this whole time they're talking to me as if I'm hired, because I was thinking, should I go with Melton? Should I go with something that's closer in California? Should I go with one of these other companies that have training things in California? That whole time I was contemplating what was the better option. I was talking to other recruiters. And after about a month or two of doing my research, looking at other reviews about Milton, I came to the conclusion that Melton was the best option. So I banked on driving all the way from California to Tulsa, Oklahoma, on the assumption that I had a job already. I didn't bank it on I had to go through probation period. They do not tell you that. So I used what little money that I had saved up and used that money to drive all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma for what I thought was a secured job. Okay. Now going on to the training part. You get here. The first thing you start finding out, they talk about the company, and for one, they have big groups. In my group they had about 60, 70 people in my group. So they bring a large amount of people. They bring about 60, 70, 80 people. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, do they have enough trucks for all these people that they bring? Because they're bringing in multiple people every week. Every Monday, they bringing in another batch of people. Every Monday. That's how every Monday is a new group of people training. So I'm thinking like, damn, I even asked my trainer, because I was starting to think like, what's really going on? Like, I asked her, do you sure you guys have enough truck for all of us? And he was like, yeah, we got over 1,200 trucks, and we, don't have to worry about that. We got enough trucks for everybody. Keep in mind, they still not telling you, hey, reason why we think we're gonna have enough trucks is because we're gonna cut a lot of these people off. So in our group, 80 people came in. The first day, they give us some background stuff. They talk a little bit about, what we're going to be doing. The second day, we go over, they show us some videos about, with truck accidents and stuff like this. And basically, the third day, they tell you, I think the first or second day, they tell you got to have a driving test. Now, they make it seem as if the driving test is just to see how good you drive. They don't tell you that first driving test, they are looking to get rid of people. They do not tell you this. Everything that you're going to find out is on a day-by-day basis. Your recruiter does not tell you this. None of them tell you this beforehand. But that first test, no, the first step, let me rewind. The first step in them getting rid of you is the drug screening process. So immediately when you get there, you're taking a DOT drug test, which DOT requires a piss test. But in addition to that, they are giving you a hair follicle test. They do not tell you this. They do not tell you this. So just think about this, bro. Just think about this. You get your CDL. Let's say, prior to getting your CDL, let's say if you lived in a state where marijuana was legal, let's say 2 months before you got your CDL, maybe even 3 months, you stop smoking. You like, man, I'm about to give up smoking. I'm not going to smoke. I'm about to focus on getting my CDL. Bam. You get the CDL. You get hot. You get the call from Milton to come work. They don't ask you, hey, when's the last time you've done smoked marijuana? They don't ask you none of that, bro. They allow you to come, bring your ass all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma. And the first day, if you don't pass the test, they literally will let you go right in that doctor's office. So they weed out a lot of people the first day. The second time, they weed you out with the driver's test. And throughout that whole week, they are keeping a fucking eye on you, because their goal is to weed out as many people as possible. And they don't let you know this beforehand. So it's a real messed up situation, because some people literally either spent their savings to get there, or they passed up other opportunities that might have been better to get to Tulsa. And they don't tell you any of this beforehand. This is why I I am creating this video, because I want you to know. I want those who watch this video to understand how Milton gets down. From day one all the way up until day 2. From day 1 all the way up to the end of week 2. They are watching you and looking for any opportunity to get rid of you, especially if you're this shade. I don't think they got rid of any Caucasians in the group. If any Caucasian left training, it's because they wanted to. They got rid of all the people that they got rid of in my group were black. And that's just the truth fact. All the people that they got rid of in my group were black. And it's not like the Caucasian brothers weren't messing up. It's not like they weren't messing up. They were messing up as well. There was one guy in our group that, a white guy, he was sick. He was a cool little white guy. We had a conversation the first day. He was sick for 4 days. He was late a few times. I rarely seen him doing much any work when we had to do our securement, because you got to go through securement training for flatbeds. He's still here. He's still here. He's still at Milton. So how is it that type of situation is going on? There's no black people in upper management. All upper management are Caucasian. The only black people that are with the company or are drivers and mechanics. So the thing is, this is the thing, right? So you go the whole time, they're looking to get rid of you for anything, any reason, any type of cause. It's an elimination process. Getting to the end of this video, it's an elimination process. The whole game of it. This is how the whole game works. As I said, each orientation group is large. What the game is they want to bring in as many people as possible. Let's say as many CDL people as possible. You could be a felon, as long as you got your CDL. They want to bring in as many as possible, right? With the expectation that, let's say, if they bring in 80 people, the expectation is they're going to cut about 30. They're going to cut it down to about 30 people. They know that beforehand. They expect that beforehand. That's the goal. They don't tell you that. Trust me. If anybody watches this video, they do not tell you their process. They make it seem, when you get that orientation packet, that you are hired. The recruiter that you get is going to talk to you as if you're hired. They're going to tell you, you do 2 weeks in Tulsa, you do 3 weeks with your trainer in the truck, and then you get your own truck. That in itself is a lie. More than likely, you're going to do 3 to 4 weeks in Tulsa, because what's going to happen after the end of the 2 weeks, right? They're going to switch you to another hotel, and then you have to wait for your trainer to become available. So when they switch you to another hotel, you'll be with a roommate, and wherever your trainer is, whether the trainer comes to Tulsa, whether you got to fly to the trainer, that's how it goes, right? So let's go forward, right? They're not telling you any of this. They're telling you what they think what you want to hear, to influence you to want to come, to influence you to take that trip to Tulsa to get into this program. That's what they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you what you want to hear. They're going to sell you a dream. They're going to sell you a dream so that you can get on that plane, on that bus. You can rent that car, and you can make it to Tulsa. Again, they are looking for any reason to get rid of you. I've seen them get rid of guys because they were driving too slow during the drive test. I've seen them get rid of guys because they had the wrong shoes on one day. I've seen them get rid of guys because they jumped off of the back of a trailer when, even though it was a short distance. They would, especially that short guy Robert. When you get to week 2, you'll meet Robert. He's a real asshole. He's the one that's in charge of the program. He's the one that is looking to get rid of you. So every day they're looking for some reason to get rid of you. The drive test, if they can get rid of you with the drive test. The written test, if they can get rid of you with the written test, they're going to get rid of you with the written test. The logs, they look at the logs, the written logs, if they can get rid of you. And the thing about this, and this is the cold part, right? They keep telling you that it's training. During the whole thing, they're telling you, oh, this is just training. Don't think about it as a test. Don't worry. Oh, we're just trying to teach you. They keep telling you that during out the whole thing. Everything is a test, bro. Trust me, it is a test. From day one, if you make it all the way to the end, it's a test. Each day you are being tested, and if you don't pass the test, that's it. The first test, I forgot to mention, they make you pick up the tarps. You got to pick up these heavy tarps and put them on the back of a flatbed. If you can't pick them up, if you can't pick up the 100-pound plus tarp, you're done. You got to then climb up. You got to climb up the trailers and go all the way to the top of the flatbed trailer where they got it stacked, these containers stacked. If you don't climb up those containers, if you have a problem climbing up those containers, you're gone. That's like the first day. They let somebody go that had bad knees, that couldn't climb up the container. Now you would think they would ask you these questions before you took the damn trip. Hey, do you have any problem climbing? Can you climb? Okay. Can you lift this amount? Are you sure? We want to make sure. They don't tell you this, right? So everything's the test, man. And then the second week, week 2, is the last test. Week 2 is the week where you go from the orientation building to the other building. And this is when you meet the other instructors, right? And this is when you're really under scrutiny, right? Now that you're closely looking at your logbook. Week 1, they don't prepare you for week 2, right? So they're looking at your logbook. They don't even tell you how to correctly do the logbook. in week 1, and if you didn't do logs in your truck driving school like that, because the school said, oh, everything's electronic, then you really screwed, because in week 1 they give you a brief overview on how to do your logs. In week 2, with that brief overview that you got in week 1, they expect that you know how to do it from A to B, A to Z, right? So going on, right? So week 2, you're under an extreme microscope. This is week 2 where they give you the written test. You got to make sure you pass that. And then they give you the backing test. Now let's go to my situation. Now that you understand how they get down, let's go to my situation. In the beginning, I showed you my Milton ID. I showed you my Milton ID. If you look at the bottom, it says hired. It says hired, right? August 2022. I showed you my com data card. I showed you the com data card. You get these Friday, right? They call you in the office and they give you these. They do not give you those. You do not get these. They don't waste their time giving you these with your own name on them if they know they're going to fire you. So when you get these, when you get your ID and when you get your comp data card, you're in the door. Okay? You're in the door. Because they don't give those, because when they give those to you, that's the last day. Friday, you get your, if you pass, you get your Milton ID, your employee ID, and you get your com data card. Because Saturday, I think you come in, and I think you do some, like they go over some more stuff, and you pack all your stuff in your room, you check out of that hotel, and you go to the other hotel where you're going to be, because you have to wait for your trainer, right? So when they give you these 2 cards, you're in the door. They've hired you. So going to my story, I felt when I realized what is going on the first week, even with the camera, they show you videos of truck drivers in their truck and they're getting in like accidents. One guy was texting on the phone with his girlfriend. They both were texting and they got in an accident. Another guy fell asleep. I soon discovered that camera, the recruiter may tell you, oh, don't worry, the camera's not on all the time. Don't even worry about the camera. It's only on. It's not really on all the time. It's only on if you jerk hard or if you hit the brakes hard or if you do this. But and it only records in 10-second increments, and after that it deletes it. That camera is on 24/7. That's the first lie. That camera is monitoring you 24/7, 365. Not only is it recording you, it's monitoring your voice. It can hear your conversations. If you have your wife in the car, you make sure that curtains close all the time and she never slips and comes out with her breast out or anything out, because they're going to catch it on the camera. That camera is monitoring you 24/7, 365. Okay? And it's listening to your conversations. That's what you need to understand. So, that being said, as I said, when you get these 2 cards at the end of 2 weeks, you've made it. My situation, when I realized what the program was, I kind of I will admit I got upset because I'm like, why didn't my recruiter tell me this? Why would they not disclose this information? Why would they allow me to drive all the way from California to come here to for something that I thought I was hired, but I'm not even hired. I'm going through an elimination process. I'm going through a probation process. Now, every company has probation, like even non-truck driving jobs, right? Most companies, they take you through a probation period where, but you're hired. You're hired, right? And let's say some have 30-day probation, some have 60-day probation, some have 90 days probation, but you are hired. And as long as you don't do anything, break any rules, you're going to be with that company. This is not the case. This company has an elimination process. They look to eliminate people within those first 2 weeks. They look to eliminate as many people as possible within those first 2 weeks. That's what you have to understand, right? So, that being stated, if they would have told us that, do you think that as many of us would have came? No, because we would have been like, hey, what's the point? Why? I got another opportunity, or I have another job. I don't, forget it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to go through all that, go all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma to be let go. So when I realized that, I was like, oh no, man, this is already getting off to a shady start. So my first week, I got through it. I passed my driving test, where they take you on the road with 4 other guys in your group, and you each got to take turns driving and drive throughout the city of Tulsa while the instructor tells you left, right, left, right. And again, they don't tell you that this is a test. They just say, hey, we want to see how you drive. So I found out it was a test when they let go a guy from my group and a guy from a few other groups. I found out it was a test. And so I passed that first week, passed all the tests, got to the second week, passed the backing test. They tell you, you go out there, they already have it set up. You got to do a straight back. You got to do a back like this, where like you pull up and you back diagonal, and then you got to do a 45-degree backing in between between the cones and the trailers. They do say this. This is how they lie to you. They do say this. They say, as long as you don't hit any of the cones, you'll be okay. Don't worry, don't stress. This is not a test. We're just trying to see how you're going to do in our trucks. We want to make sure that you're a safe driver. We want to make sure that you're okay. We want to see how you do in our trucks. As long as you don't hit none of the burrows, the cones or things, you're okay. That's what they say. They tell you that before you get in the truck. Don't worry, it's not a test. Oh, don't worry, it's not a test. We're going to help you out. We'll be out there to help you. We'll be out there to show you the way. Don't worry. So when you get out there, they give you one demonstrate, depending on your group, bro. This is not truck driving school, right? In truck driving school, the instructor will show you a few times, and then they'll practice with you a few times, and then you'll do it on your own. Most of us have never driven a flatbed 53 feet truck. I would say none of us have, right? So when we go to truck driving school, we're trained with a truck and a trailer, a dry box trailer, whatever size that might be. And those turn different than these 2 or 3 axle flatbed trucks. It's a total different experience. So most of us have no experience driving a flatbed. I would say 99.9% of us do not know, have not driven a flatbed. So it takes us some time to get used to it, right? But this company doesn't care about that. Depending on your group, if you, let's say, if you tested, let's say they'll show you a demonstration, right? Now, they'll have one of the instructors get in, he'll go do it, and then he'll show you all, like they'll show you how to do all the things, right? And then that's it. Now you may think, oh, we about to do this right now. Why? It's still fresh in our brain. No. You won't do that test for another few days. So depending on your group, if you have a large group, and let's say you group 10, by Thursday, you may have to take your test. You kind of forgot, hey, what was the method again? You kind of forgot what the method was because it was like 4 or 5 days ago. You forgot what the method was, right? So let's say you take your test on Thursday, you have to ask them again, hey, what is the proper way to do this again? Oh, they'll tell you, okay, turn 9 o'clock, turn all the way right, get to your 12 o'clock, then turn all the way to your 9 o'clock, and then turn to your left. They'll tell you again, you're like, okay. And you'll follow that, and keep in mind, they keep telling you, hey, this is not a test. They keep telling you that. We're just training you. As long as you listen to us, as long as you don't hit anything, you'll be okay. They keep reinforcing that in your mind. That is a fucking lie. It is a fucking test. Right? So, my group was like the last group to take the test that they tell you is a training. So when we got our instructions, it was like 4 days ago. It was 4 days ago when they got in the car and when they got in the truck and the instructor briefly showed us how to do it. And then we went back to the, what's that building? Mason building or something, whatever. We went back to the building to work on our securements. So other than that brief 30 minutes, all that time has passed where we've been watching videos about securement. We've been watching videos about human trafficking. We've been taking tests about logs and this and watching all type of orientation stuff. Like all this stuff then transpired. And now 4 days later, oh, come do your backing thing. And we're supposed to remember, was that never having practiced how to do it. But they tell you, oh, we're going to train you through it. Don't worry. We're going to walk you through it. So when they walk you through it, depending on who you are, right? When they walk you through how to do it, when they're showing you, when you actually get behind the truck and you're doing the test, and they say, okay, remember, turn a hard right until you hit 12 o'clock, and then when you're at 12 o'clock, turn all the way left until you get to 9 o'clock again, and then you'll be in the right position to back in, right? When they telling you that, depending on who you are, depending on your shade, when they tell you that, you've already failed. Listen to me again. When they tell you how to do it again, right? Let's say if you forgot, like, oh, can you please just show me the method again? When they tell you that, you have failed, depending on who you are, because they did not do that to everybody, right? So in my situation, right, I said, hey, it's been a while since, can you just please just tell me, okay, I already know how to back. I passed my CDL test in one take. I didn't have to take it. I didn't have to take it twice. I didn't have to take it 3 times. I didn't get a bad grade. I did my straight back perfectly. I did my alley back perfectly. I did my offsets perfectly. I did my on the road test perfectly. I had a good ass score. I passed it one time. So I have no problem driving a 50-foot 3 truck, but I've never driven a flatbed before. Okay, I never driven a split axle where it turns quickly, so it just takes me some time to get adjusted to it. That's all. Once I'm adjusted to this truck, I got it. I know how to back up straight. I know how to alley dock. I know how to do this. Okay, my CDL is from California. They don't play. DMV makes sure you know how to do these things before they give you your test, before they give you your CDL. So when you ask them for instructions on how to do it again, you've already failed, even though you do it. Let's say, okay, they give you the instructions, you do the test, you do the alley dot. I mean, you do the 45 degree, you do the straight back, you do the everything. Even though you do it and you don't hit any barrels, you fail already because you had to act, because you asked them, and they don't tell you that. They keep telling you that this is just training. We're here to help. Blah blah blah. It is not just training, bro. You are being tested from the beginning, and if you make it to the end, right? Everything that you do is under the microscope. So, getting back to my situation, I passed the backing test. They tell you after you do each maneuver, there's an instructor right there. They'll give you the thumbs up. You passed. You did good. They'll give you the thumbs up. Each one, they said, okay, you did good. You passed. Okay? Now, I already got the feeling that when I seen how the program was going, I already got the feeling, hey, they trying to get rid of as many people as possible, and it seems like they getting rid of the more black than white, right? So when I started kind of like, feeling that, I felt like I was a target. I felt like I was a target, right? And so I passed the first day. That was a Thursday, right? Come in Friday, we in the securement building, which is called the Mace. I think it's called the Matson building or the Mason building. We in there doing our securement. My group is working on the shotgun. We're working on the shotgun. So doing the shotgun, this is like our last, because you got to go through every one. You got to do the shotgun, the suicide, the multi-layer, the AC units. You got to go through all of them. You'll see what I'm talking about. So I'm working on the shotgun. The instructor, Robert, calls me, right? He says, hey, go to the yard. We want to see you do the straight back again. We want to see you do the straight back again. I'm already, he stopped, I'm working on my securements, and he just calls my name like, hey, go back to the driving area and go see Jeff. We want you to do the straight back again. I said, the straight back? In my mind, I'm like, damn, the straight back is easy to me. Like even though it's the flatbed, once you got the idea of the straight back concept, it's easy, right? If you see the trailer start to come too far on this side, you just turn slightly towards that side. If you see the trailer start to come, in the mirror, coming in this side to the right, you just turn it to the right. And you just keep doing that until you get all the way back into the hole. So I'm like, the straight back, and I'm like, damn, I aced that. Like, I didn't even get any instructions on the straight back. I didn't get nobody instructing me on the straight back. I just went back and did the straight back. I said the other ones, they instructed me because I had to ask them, hey, what's the perfect angle to put it in, to set it in there, right? But outside of that, I didn't get no help on the straight back. So I was confused. I'm like, the straight back? He's like, yeah, just go meet Jeff. I'm like, all right, man, whatever, man. I'm already feeling like, okay, they trying to, at this point, I'm like, okay, this is the last day. This is the last day, Friday, and they're going to try to get rid of as many as they can right now. Okay? For any reason. As I said, they're looking for any reason. So in their mind, it was like, okay, we'll have him do that test again and say he didn't do it right. I mean, we'll have him do the test again and say he didn't do it right the first time. And if and hopefully he messes up and he hits something, and because maybe each day is different. I mean, as human beings, each day is different. Maybe you didn't get enough sleep the night before, or maybe you're a little hot, or maybe you just ate a big meal, a big breakfast, and you're feeling a little sluggish, or maybe you're tired from working hard doing securement, right? So they know those elements could exist, so they say, oh, this is a good time to catch them, to catch them, to make them fuck up, basically, right? So that's probably what they were thinking. So, but when I went out there again, this time I did the test. Now, this is the thing. This is the thing. As I said, they keep telling you this is not like your CDL test. We all know in the CDL test, you get about 2 times to get out, depending. With the straight back, they give you 2 free get outs to look. Get out, they give you 2 free get outs to look. After that, if you get out anymore, they take a point, or I think you fail, depending on the state. I don't know what state you're in. On the alley dock or the parallel, I think you get one get out and look to make sure that your bumper is in between those two. Your DOT bumper is in between those 2 cones, right? And on the alley dock, the same thing. That might be like 2 free get out and looks before you fill out. They tell you before you do these things, you can get out and look as many times as possible. You can pull forward and back as many times as possible. You can do it as many times as you need to get in there. As long as you don't hit the cone. This is not a CDL test. They keep emphasizing that. This is not a CDL test. In the real world, you can get out, pull up, pull out, pull up as many times as you need to get in there, right? And even in this job, they tell you, hey, you probably won't even have to pull out at any time, because the nature of the job doesn't require you to be backing in and doing all this stuff. So this is all just to see if you had to do it, if you can do it. But they tell you can get out and look as many times as possible. You can pull forward as many times as possible and straighten out. Okay, so this they called me the second time to pass the backing test that I already passed the day before, right? And keep this in mind. Keep in mind this. If I did not pass it, I would not have been there Friday, because the guys that passed the first drive test, when they take you out around Tulsa to drive, the next day they were gone. You would, and that's fucked up too. Why allow you to come to the classroom, have your breakfast at the hotel, get in the shuttle, bring all your stuff for you to come down to the building and tell you, hey, go back, pack your stuff and go. So if you don't do good, they're not going to let you go on the next day. Trust me. If you don't do good on the first time, that first test, the next day, maybe even the same day, the next day, you will be gone. They're not going to allow you to go a whole nother day, because they pay you every day. You're getting paid by the day. So at the end of the week, you get your money at the end of the week, but the training, you're paid by the day. Okay. So basically I passed it, and I was allowed to be there the second day. They didn't call me in before the day started and say, hey, you got to go, pack your stuff. They didn't do any of that. They allowed me to go to the securement building. They allowed me to listen to the meeting. They allowed me to do my log, everything. So, as I said, I did the second part, came out. I mean, they called me out for the second part. I did everything I needed to do. This time, I didn't get any help, I think. No, I didn't ask. Like, if they helped me, it's because they wanted to help me. But I didn't ask them to help me, right? So, as I said, they tell you, oh, you can get out and look as many times as you need to. You can pull forward and back up as many times as you need. They keep telling you that. So, the straight back, I did it easy. The diagonal, this is what happened, right? I get out, I position myself for it to go in, bam. I got the back of the trailer within the cones. I got the back of the trailer within the cones. Okay? But I want to get out to make sure to see how much space I got in between the cone. I want to make sure I got enough space on my left and my right. So I use one of my I get out and I go to the back and I look. I say, okay, I'm good on the right. I'm good on the left. As a matter of fact, my trailer was in between the cones. It was in there. You know, all I had to do was, you know, do a little right and left and wiggle it in there. So when I get out, as I said, the instructor, he's sitting right there watching. Each one you do, there's an instructor. So as I get out, I'm like, yeah, I'm just getting out to see how much space I got. He's like, oh, you're in there. He told me you're in there. He said, hey, you're in there. You're lined up good. Just back it on up. So, I'm like, cool. I just want to make sure, I want to look. I'm a cautious driver. This is how I drive. I like to make sure I'm good. I want to make sure that I'm straight. I'm just cautious like this. And you would think, oh, why wouldn't we want to hire somebody that is just that's cautious like him? We don't want a reckless driver. We got a guy that makes sure he don't mind getting out. He's not lazy. He's going to get out, make sure he's lined up right. He's a cautious driver, which means he would avoid damage to our trucks. This is the type of guy we want. No. So when I get out to look, and they said it was okay, and the instructor told me, oh, you lined up, just turn it right, and you're in there. So I'm like, cool, I'm already in there. So I get in the truck, and they try to throw me off this day. They gave me a different truck. So I had to learn the gears because I trained in a manual. When I took my test, my CDL, I have an unrestricted CDL license. So I didn't train in automatics. That's another thing. So I had to briefly learn how to work this automatic, right? So I'm learning how to do this automatic because I didn't train in automatics in my truck driving school. I trained in the manuals. So I'm learning that, and I'm learning how, to drive a flatbed because, I know how to drive a truck, but the axles in the flatbed, they turn a little different than the dry box. So I'm learning that. So I'm like, okay. He's like, yeah, just turn it right and you in there. So I get back in the truck. I had a little difficulty getting to go back because the air had went out of the truck. So he had to show me how to put air back in the truck to get it moving again because it had stalled out. So after I did that, I back it on in there. He said, good, you good. I get out one more time to see how much space I got, because I don't want to hit the thing in the back just to be sure, right? Because they said we can do this. I like, okay, I got about 4 more feet. Bam. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. You're good. He just said, don't worry. You're good. You're good. You did it. Fine. I drive down to the next one. Same thing. This time I knew the method. I knew, okay, once I get to this cone, turn hard right, and then go out to 12 o'clock, then turn hard left to 9, and then, get it in there. So I do that. I do the method because I just did it the day before, so I remember how to do it. And I get in there, no help, no instruction, and I get the trailer. I get the trailer to go start to go into the between the cones. I get it lined up. I get out again because this is what I do. This is how I've been trained to do it in truck driving school. I get out. I look to see how much, where am I at? How much space I got? Because this is the real world. You can get out and look as many times as you need in the real world. It's not a CDL test. So I get out. I say, okay, I got this much space. Bam. All I got to do is go this. Again, I didn't ask him for help. I get out. I walk to the back. He's like, oh, you're in there. It's a different instructor now. You're in there. All you got to do is just back. You're lined up. I see what you were trying to do. I see what you do. All you got to do is, do a hard right, and you'll go in there. As I said again, I didn't ask him for help. He gave the help, and he sat in his chair while I was doing it. Okay, so I get it in there. Bam. I pull forward when my trailer is in between those cones. I pull forward to straighten out, and then all I gotta do is straight back. And I got it straight back with I ace the straight back. The straight back is not difficult for me, right? So once I get in the straight back position, all I gotta do is just get back in there, and I'm back. Oh, you did it. Same thing. I get to the asshole, the dick, the last guy, Jeff. This is a straight back. As I said, I have no problem doing straight backs. This is the easiest maneuver to do in a truck. It's easy. If you got it, you got it. So I get to the straight back. And also, they load the trucks with concrete blocks. So sometimes you got to hit the gas a little bit because we on a dirt road. We're not on a flat pavement like in truck driving school where it just goes smoothly. There's bumps and humps in the road. So sometimes you got to hit the gas a little bit, but you got to be cautious because you don't want it to go jump back too far. You know what I'm saying? Because this is, like I said, this is the first time you're driving these trucks. So you want to, you're going cautiously. You want to be cautious. So you're doing your straight back. You're hitting the gas a little bit. Okay, that took it back this far. Okay, keep going. I got it. Keep going. I did the straight back perfectly with no help. No help, no guidance, nothing from the instructor. The only thing I did was get out to see how much space I had further to go to so I don't hit the divider. I always do that. I get out, I look, okay, I got this much space, 4 feet, 5 feet. I'm gonna back on in further. When I get out, the instructor say, "Oh, don't worry about that. No need. You okay? This is Jeff." I knew something was funny when I reached out to give him a dap, and he kind of just like he was slow to give it to me. I knew something then. Why is this guy tripping with me like this? What's going on with this guy? He's not. The other guy said something to me. He didn't have to say anything to me on these straight blacks, the first day and today. So when he was hesitant to give me a dap, I kind of already knew something was up with that. But he was like, "Oh, you did. Don't worry. Go back to the Mason building. This the game they play with you, bro. This is the game that they play with you." He said, "Go back to the securement building to keep doing what you were doing." Because if I would have failed, he probably would have said, "Okay, go see Robert. Go to the office and go see Robert. Don't go back to the securement, the Mason building, because you failed the test. Go back, go to see Robert and talk to Robert, and then from that point, Robert will let you go. Whatever." He said, "Go back to the Mason building." I went back to the Mason building, whatever the building's called, where we practice our securement at. And I go back to doing my job. I go back to working on the securement that was being worked on, right? Now, I think they called lunch. They said, okay, leave the securement building and come back to they told us, come back, all of us come back to the office. We're about to get our Milton employment stuff. So everybody's like, oh, that means everybody, we're under the understanding, once you get those 2 cards, your Milton ID, even on your Milton ID, it says hired. It says hired. Okay? It don't say you're in orientation. It don't say you're still in training. When you get this Milton card, it says you're hired. Okay? So when they told us to come back to the orientation, pick our roommate, with your roommate that you pick for the hotel that you're going to be staying in for week 3, they tell you to pick your roommate. Do you think they will tell you to pick your roommate if you're about to be fired? Why would they go through all that? Why? What type of psychological shit are they playing where they will tell you to pick your roommate and get your comm data card and your employee ID, right? You take a picture your first day in Tulsa for your employment ID, right? So they have us come back to the office. They had us come back to the building, pick our roommate, and with our roommate, we tell them who we gonna roommate with, and we get our Milton employee card and our comp data card. So they called me to the office, and they're sitting on the table. They all were there. All the instructors were there. All 4 or 5 of them were sitting down in that office. There's your card, sir. Welcome to Milton. Ma'am, I guess I passed the second test again. Because if I didn't, why would they go through that? What is the point? What you got to ask yourself, what is the psychological game that is being played here? If you fail, then send the person home and that's it. Why give the person a card, they cards, and then, so I'll get to it. So they called me, I got my card, my 2 cards, and I told them who my roommate was. And bam, okay, go to lunch, guys. I go to lunch. They give us an hour lunch. I go to my car to eat, chill in my car. I'm eating, I do my thing, eat, and I come back to the office building. I sit down. Robert comes out. Can you come to my office real quick? I'm like, okay, what's this about? I'm just like, what's this about? So I go to his office. Well, I hate to tell you this, but you didn't meet our Milton back-end standards. And I'm like, what do you mean? The guy said I passed. What part? What part are you talking about? I'm asking him because I'm confused. I'm like, what part? Oh, the backing part. Okay, what backing part? Oh, yeah. Oh, just to meet our standards. That's it. So, pack your bag. Get your bag, and someone, a shuttle will take you back. And I'm sitting here like, bro, what type of shit is this? Y'all just gave me my employee ID. Y'all just gave me my comp data card. Y'all just had me pick my roommate, and y'all just tell me I'm gone like that, and you don't even tell me the reason. You make up some bullshit ass excuse that I failed the back-end test when I didn't. I said, oh, y'all just wanted to get rid of me. It wasn't even about that. You were just trying to find some reason to get rid of me, and you used that as an excuse. And literally, sent me home. No money to get back. No money to get. I'm like, hey man, okay. I didn't argue. You know what I'm saying? I realized what type of game they playing. Like I already realized that a week ago. I said, you know what, man, it's cool. So how am I going to get home? You guys going to give me some money? Oh, call your recruiter. Okay, but what is my recruiter going to do? Oh, they'll tell you how you're going to get home. Okay, but how long do I have to stay in the hotel? You know, don't do I get the hotel? Oh, we'll let you stay there to check out tomorrow. Okay. So what happens after tomorrow? You guys told me, for one, I still haven't got my reimbursement for coming here. They still haven't given me my money from, the recruiter told me, hey, we're going to reimburse you the first week. And all the information is mixed up. One department don't know about the other department. This department don't know. This department don't know about that department. Everything is like, oh, we don't know about the other department. Ask them. Oh, we don't know about this department. Ask them. Oh, we don't know about this department. Here's the email. So everything, nobody knows about nothing. So he's just like, oh, call your recruiter. I'm like, bro, you can't just do that, man. You can't just, you gave somebody $450 for a week, okay? For a week, $450. We had to buy our own boots. If you didn't have boots already, you got to buy your own boots. That's about $50 you probably gonna spend on your boots from Walmart or any other store. Then you had to pay for your meals every night. We all know, especially right now, that with inflation and everything, everything is high right now. So eating out every night is going to be expensive. You're probably going to spend $10 to $15 trying to eat out throughout the week, right? And even if you do go to the grocery store and want to buy something for the week, you're going to probably spend $100 to get food and all this shit for the week. And then your laundry, you're going to have to spend money on doing your laundry. So that little funky $450 that they give you after you do the first week, that's going to go fast. And even if you're frugal, you'll probably be left with $200. Now, what is $200 going to do for you if you live over 1,000 miles away and you spent your last money getting to this bastard and they don't tell you beforehand, hey, make sure you have some money just in case. They don't tell you this. The recruiter does not, I must stress and emphasize this. The recruiter, for one, does not tell you there's a possibility that you're going to get fired, that they're going to let you go the first day or sometime during the week. Not only that, they don't tell you, hey, just in case this happened, how much money do you have? Oh, okay, well, maybe you should wait, save up some more money to bring enough money, just in case, that happens. They don't tell you none of this. They make it seem like you have a job, and a lot of guys go with that idea in mind. They go with that in mind. Oh, I got a job. After I get through training, I'm going to have my own truck. I'm going to have, even if I don't have a place, even don't have much money, I'm going to have my own truck so I can sleep in my truck. And, and they're going to provide me with reimbursement for my showers and all this. You like, okay, cool. I'm set. All I got to do is get there. And so that's what guys do. Not all of us come or live in the Oklahoma area. Some of these guys do live in the Oklahoma area. So it's cool for them. All they got to do is get back in their car and drive back home. But for the guys that have to come from the East Coast, from the West Coast, from the deep South, a lot of us are coming here with the hopes that we got a job and we're going to have our own truck when that job is done, and we're going to be getting paid, so we don't have to worry about anything, right? No. No, that is not how it happens. If they send you home, you are on your own. They're not giving you no gas money. They ain't giving you shit, bro. So if you broke the day they fire you and you ain't got no family members and you ain't got no money in the bank because you spent the little funky $450 they give you for the week, you fucked, bro. You was shit out of luck. You gonna have to be hit. You gonna be on the road doing this, hoping somebody give you. You're gonna be standing at the gas station with a sign in your hand. Please give me some money so I can get home. I came out here for a truck driving opportunity, and they just let me go. They didn't tell me, please, just anything to help me get home. You know, I'm willing to bet some of these homeless people out here in Tulsa, maybe that's the situation that happened with them. Maybe they came out here for this bullshit ass company and ended up getting stuck out here, and now they sleeping over a goddamn bridge because they can't get back to where they come from. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of game this company pays. All the guys are Confederates. All the guys are rednecks here. And this is their mindset. So if you're a black person, you are under a extra microscope. You are under an extra microscope, bro. This is the type of game they play. Proceed at your own risk. That's all I would say, man. Proceed at your own risk. If you're going to come work for Milton, do understand that element. Do understand that there's a possibility that you will not be able, you won't make it to, you might understand this, right? From my understanding, if you get into Melton, it seems like it's a decent company. You know, I didn't make it to that point where they gave me my truck, but according to their benefits, I don't know. I never got to experience it. It's not like they gave me my truck and I went to working for them, so I never got to experience it. But it seems like if they live up to their word about the benefits that they offer you, about this the cents per mile and all these, the health benefits and all this, and the bank days and all this, it's if that's the truth, then it is a good company to work for. You know, it's saying if they live up to that, then it is a good company to work for. But as I said, I didn't make it to that part because they did some shady shit in the first part. So if you get that call from Milton Truck Lines about you being accepted to orientation, do consider this. If you got opportunities that are closer to home, if you got other opportunities, better opportunities that are going on, if you have a decent job and, you know what I'm saying, whatever, or other job, it don't have to be in the trucking industry, consider taking that. Because when you get to orientation week, there is a strong possibility anytime in those 2 weeks you can be let go, even at the last goddamn day when you get your 2 damn cards. When you get your 2 damn cards, it is a strong possibility that they can let you go, even when you get your 2 damn cards saying you're hired and your money card. They can let you go. They can let you go. And that is the cold truth about Milton Trucking. Week 2 It's elimination. Do consider it. Make sure you have some money, emergency money, in case that happens. And they send you home, because they just going to send you home. They're not going to give you any warning. They're not going to say, oh, here's your plane ticket. Here's your bus ticket. You know, I call recruiting, and I told them the situation, like, hey, okay, I got sent home. Cool. Hey, I called recruiting, just like, you know, the guy said, okay, call your recruiter. So I called the recruiter. This is another shady thing. The recruiter that first brought me here, all of a sudden, I can't reach her no more. Every time, like, I think when I told him I was coming the day before, that was the last time I talked to Tammy. That's the recruiter they gave me, Tammy. The day that I left, and I was just calling to make sure, you know, everything was cool. I'm like, hey, I'm on my way. I'm just making sure everything is good. I'm on my way. I'm about to get on the road. Oh, Tammy's not here. She's out of the office today, but I'm Bryson. Or I'm Brian. I'll be taking over. Okay. Well, Bryson, I just want to let you know, I want to make sure everything is set up. I'm about to get on this highway and drive from California to Tulsa, Oklahoma. Okay, well, we'll be here, you know, when your room is ready. Don't worry about it. Okay, cool. About midway, I call again. Oh, I'm the weekend recruiter. Yeah. This time it's a female. Oh, don't worry about it. Yeah, we're here waiting for you. We have your name on our list. Okay, cool. Now when this happened, I'm like, okay, well, maybe Tammy is back from her vacation or whatever. Maybe Tammy is back, you know, from not being in the office. I call again. Oh, Tammy. Oh, she's out of the office again. So conveniently, every time I call, she's out of the office. So now she probably already got word what happened, and now she want to conveniently not be available because she know the things that she promised me before I came here, she has to fulfill those things. She said I will be reimbursed for my traveling expenses from coming here the first week. She said I will get that money back the first week. This is what she said. And now I called today, like little Robert told me to do. Little Robert from Southern California, that's been, you know, that's one of the Proud Boys living in Tulsa now. I called like he instructed me to do, and now it's a different recruiter. And I said, hey man, this is a situation, you know, they let me go. I didn't know why I was let go. They just let me go like this, but hey, fine. I'm not going to sit here and cry. I'm not going to sit here and argue about it. Can I just have some money to get back home? Can I just have some money to get back to California like you guys promised me? Oh yeah, allow me to call you back. No call back. No call back. No nothing. Yo, allow me to call back. Let me talk to my manager or whatever, and then we'll call you back in about a few minutes, and we'll tell you what we can do. Nothing. I literally told this guy I spent my last getting here. I literally sat on the phone with this guy and said, I don't know anybody in Tulsa, Oklahoma outside of this company. I literally told this guy I don't have any family members that I can even call right now to give me some money to get back. So you guys had me literally stuck out here in Tulsa, Oklahoma with nobody that I know out here and no way to get back. So I guess I will have to end up under the bridge too, or with a sign in my hand. Fucked up company, bro. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. That money that they guarantee you when they call you is contingent upon you getting past the weeks. So if they can cut you, let's say, like they did with me, right? I made it through week 1, got my 450. Make it through week 2, you come to Friday, they say, okay, if we get rid of him on Friday, we don't have to pay him on Monday. So you literally go through a whole week. And if they let you go on Friday, that wipes out, it ain't no money coming. That whole week that you did, ain't no money coming. You might say, okay, well, oh, y'all let me go. Okay, well, they'll give me my money for the days that I work. No. Figure out, motherfucker. That's the truth about Milton Truck Lines for you. Peace.